Welcome Fiesta fans to Cadwell Park for the first round of the Fiesta Junior Championship. Yesterday we saw the bigger Fiesta, or the older Fiesta drivers I should say, come out and have their day. It is time for the juniors between 14 and 17 years of age. My goodness, I have socks older than that, so I feel very old interviewing these guys, but some amazing talent out here nonetheless. On pole is a Deegan Fairclough, which is in car number 87. See if we can grab his attention whilst he's getting ready. We'll have to open his door because I can't get the microphone through the netting. Deegan, what a great performance getting it on pole. You must be pleased.
Yeah, I'm super happy, and let's just bring the race on and hopefully can just win the race, get a good start and pull away. That's my plans.
Good to see a lot of confidence in there now. You had a really strong performance in Cadwell 2 race meetings ago. Looking at the same again, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. I'm super excited for the 2 races today, and yeah, let's bring it on. Brilliant
stuff. Best of luck, and we'll see you on the other side, as they say. Need to shut his door. He's car suffered some back-end damage during qualifying, so hopefully he's not caused any other damage. They've not released the cars just yet, so we'll have a chat with second place man number 260, which is Jake Wallace, 4th in the championship, right behind pole man Jake. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, you know. Oh, I think I'm going as well.
But great timing. Best of luck out there, Jake. We need to shut his door because they've just been let loose. We'll get out of the way. So it's the Fiesta Juniors that take to the field now. We'll see the bigger boys out. The Fiestas have got 2 races today, and we'll see the older drivers later today. Back over to Scott in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, and welcome to everyone that's watching on the Fiesta Junior page. This is it, the final 2 races of the 2021 season for the BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship, and this is where we will finally crown our champion for the season. It looks as though it is almost a formality for current leader Jensen Brickley, but of course he needs to pretty much, by our calculations, with a 63-point lead and no ability to drop the scores from these final 2 races. Essentially all he really needs to do is just keep it clean and pretty much finish and score some points to try and hold on to it. Here's the grid for the final race, second last race of the season. So Deegan Fairclough then starts on pole position. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is James Wallace. Championship leader Jensen Brickley starts 3rd, alongside Cadwell Park winner back in August Jake Triggs. More on that in a minute. Then Sid Smith and Daniel Lewis. Improved qualifying for Daniel. He starts in P6. Alex Lee then comes 7th ahead of Albert Webster in 8th on the grid. Top 10 is completed by Joseph Knight and Archie Handy. And then at the back of the grid in 11th place. And the last row is set to be James Pope. Now we are without a couple of drivers who just couldn't make it this weekend, so sadly we don't have Harry Garman, we don't have Jake Maynard, no Alex Sprange either, and also I'm sure we're missing another one. George Foxlow is one of our new drivers who we're going to be seeing next season, as I'm sure we will many of the drivers from this season too. And a big thank you to everyone who's competed this year. It's been quite a nice competitive season. Good to see so many new drivers in the field, as well as those who carried over from our resurgence last year. There's plenty of promise for next year, with plenty of exciting things in the background and in the pipeline for the 2022 season to make it even bigger and better than it has been the last couple of seasons. So for those watching for the first time, this is a junior championship, so it's from drivers aged 14 to 17 years old. It's their first steps into circuit racing, out of maybe karting, from the short ovals, from autograss racing, even sim racing, or for some drivers at least, having not even driven in anger on a racetrack or raced anything in their life before. You can drive completely from scratch. I know there are 1 or 2 drivers who have done that in the past. I think one that springs to mind is Carlito Morocco, who came up from absolutely completely racing nothing at all in his previous history to now having been more recently a race winner in the Jetta GT4 Super Cup. And many drivers that have come through this championship have gone on to bigger and better things. The likes of Aidan Moffat and Bobby Thompson and Jack Mitchell in more recent times have gone on from the Fiesta Junior Championship all the way through into the British Touring Car Championship. We've had double TCR UK champion Lewis Kent, his brother Bradley's also racing here as well. We've also had Rory Collingbourne, who's racing GTs. We've had also a newly crowned GT4 champion in British GT, that being Gus Burton, has competed in the championship too. We've had Charlie Liddell, who's been a Ginetta Super Cup champion. We've also had the likes of drivers that race in minis regularly, like Isaac Smith has raced in this championship, so has Jack Davidson. So many great drivers that have come through and been champions in other sectors. Also, you have to think about other guys in Ginettas, including another recently crowned champion. Congratulations to Josh Steed, who started in the championship. He just recently wrapped up the Ginetta GT5 Challenge. and he's been racing in that championship with other Fiesta Junior graduates like Nathaniel Hodgkiss, 2019 champion, which was Magnus Krickleby. We've also had, 2018 champion he was, forgive me. Also, Conor Grady's been in that championship, and a couple more. Will Orton, who was last year's rookie champion too. So many drivers have come through the Fiesta Junior ranks into higher levels of motorsport, but it really is a brilliant championship to come through. What is racing this weekend also in Brit car is Ollie Turner, who's been looking pretty strong in VW Cup, and he was the 2020 champion too. So you can go on to bigger and better things higher up the motorsport ladder by starting in Fiesta Juniors. All the cars are identical, Fiesta identically prepared Fiesta ST150s, Mark 6s. They all run a Goodyear tyre, they junior tyre. They also run AST suspension. They run a Quake limited slip differential, and they all run as well a spec Puma Speed Championship ECU map as well. So they are proper little touring cars. All these cars, they look, they go, and they sound like touring cars, and they drive like them too. So in terms of the championship, Jensen Brickley leads on drop scores with 473 points, Sid Smith on 410, then it's Alex Lee on 404, James Wallace on 388, and Deegan Fairclough on 370. We should just very briefly touch, but not into too much detail, without going into loads of detail. There has been a couple of points clarifications, shall we say, from some previous results, and that means that the order is as it was there in the top 5. You then have Jake Triggs in 6th, who took victory here last time we were at Cadwell Park a couple of months ago in August, when there was a battle going on between Deegan Fairclough and Jensen Brickley at the front of the field. The pair had a bit of a coming together, and on the sprint to the line, as both of them were having their own little issues, Jake Triggs powered his way through and just managed to pip Jensen Brickley to the line to pick him up his first Fiesta Junior win. Now he'll be looking to try and do the same if he can from quite high up on the grid, and he'll be looking to try and emulate that if he can today, but he knows it's going to be tough with the likes of Deegan, James Wallace, and even Jensen Brickley in the field as well. It's close, it's competitive, and it is good-natured racing amongst everyone in the paddock, and it really is a fantastic way for young drivers to get started in circuit racing, to learn the bigger circuits before they start to move up into more senior level racing. Some drivers who've moved up this season, including the likes of George Davis and Bryony Davis, and also Dylan Hotchin, they've started in Fiesta Juniors, then moved up, of course, into the senior level ranks this year, and they've been trying to apply their craft. And one driver who we definitely shouldn't forget, who's racing this weekend in his own season finale, is multiple British F4 race winner and last year's champion Joseph Lowe, who's had an amazing first year in single-seaters. So I know everyone in the paddock is immensely proud of him, so congratulations to his first season. He's done incredibly well, and I'm hoping next year, if he does carry on to the new Fiesta Junior British F4 Championship, he should hopefully do the same thing. So 5-second board is up. The penultimate race of the season for the 2021 BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship is all underway. Decent start for the front row of the grid. It's Wallace from the outside of row 1 that gets the better jump slightly. Jensen Brickley slots to 3rd. There's a little bit of tussling in the background. They've got Joseph Knight onto the grass. You've got elbowed out wide by Archie Handy, who had to try and avoid Albert Webster trying to get the inside. They're 3 abreast into Coppice. That's not going to work if they're not careful. They turn their way through and they do shuffle themselves out, but it is Fairclough who leads. Wallace in 2nd place. Brickley's 3rd. Jake Triggs is up to 4th place. Sid Smith is 5th. Is Lee in 6th. Around the outside for 7th is Archie Handy. He's really picked up pace in the last couple of meetings. He's on the outside of Albert Webster in car number 2. They're side by side up the hill. Out of Charlie's and now up Park Straight for the first time. It's a 15-minute race. And up towards Park then. So Fairclough leads it. Wallace 2nd, Brickley 3rd, then Triggs, Sid Smith, Alex Lee, round the outside still goes Archie Handy. They've been side by side for the last few corners. Up to the right hander, they're still side by side into Chris Curve. That didn't work for the caterers, but it's working for these little Fiestas. And Archie Handy's still not giving it up. They are still side by side, and eventually Webster thinks, right, I'm not going to go side by side to the gooseneck. You go through Archie, I'll get you back the next time. And didn't quite work for Archie. He gets wide on the exit, holds it nicely, and blocks the move into the left-hander at Mansfield. That was good stuff from Archie. That was brave, gutsy stuff for the 41. Great work from Archie to get in front. So half a lap and they're at it already. So, into the mountain for the first time. Fairclough leads it, and then car 87. Then it's Wallace ahead of Brickley. Then it's Triggs, followed by Smith and Lee. There's a battle going on for 2nd ever championship between these two, in currently 5th and 6th position. So, Sid Smith is on 410 points. Alex Lee is on 404. Now remember, they can't drop any scores from these final 2 races. That's in the rules. You can drop any of the rounds up until the completion of the last rounds at Donington Park, but you cannot drop any results from these last 2 races and use any of them as a drop score. You have to count them into your final championship total after drop score. So to play here for, every single point quite literally counts here at Cadwell Park this weekend. across the line to win lap 1. So Fairclough still continues to lead from pole. Wallace P2 from his front row spot on the grid. Then Brickley and Triggs. So the top 4 on the grid are pretty much as they were in the championship, were in the race so at the moment. And Smith and Lee, who are in that battle for the runners-up spot in the championship. Also Archie Handy hasn't quite got Albert Webster shaken off yet. He's now got a good run exiting the right-hander at Charlie's and up towards Parkour. There might be a possible change again for 6th position. Fairclough pushing hard, trying to pull away here as they turn in. Another battle going on here, and Archie Handy tried to cut the inside of the Fed, but he went too deep on the inside line and loses out to Webster as he squeezes through. And they're also going to come under threat from both Daniel Lewis, who's had a real improvement in pace over this weekend. He's a little bit stronger and started a bit tentatively. He's one of our rookie drivers last year, but he's now pushed forward to become a bit quicker. Slight pace through the mid part of the gooseneck there for Daniel Lewis. Joseph Knight also in there too. In 88, he had some bad luck at the start of the season here, at the start of last season at Cadwell Park, but and also here back in August. But Cadwell Park not his favourite circuit, maybe his favourite circuit to drive, but in terms of fortunes, maybe not quite up there in terms of ones he likes to come back to again and again. But hopefully he can pick this up pretty well. So the juniors to make their way in through the Hall bends. And again, remember, these are 14 to 17-year-old drivers, so the way they're running, it's great to see them just handling these curves with finesse here as they turn through the complex of the Hall bends. There's Joseph Knight having a look up the inside of Daniel Lewis as we headed out a shot there. Top 3 out of Barn Corner, then Jake Triggs, Smith, Lee. Fairclough then with the fastest lap of the race, the first proper flying lap on this race so far. 1:45.406 for Deegan. Just 11 and a quarter minutes to go. On to the 3rd lap in this penultimate race of the season for the 2021 Fiesta Junior Championship. Out through Charlie's. So Sid Smith's pulled away a little bit here. So at this moment in time, it is advantage Smith for his runner-up spot in the championship. We'll see if we can keep you abreast in terms of what's essentially going to happen in terms of points. Currently, if it stands as it is right now, with Fairclough on the fastest lap of the race, it would mean that he, along with his pole position point, the 2 bonus points he gets for fastest lap and the win, he would score 53 points. It would be then 46 points for James Wallace. He picks up 2nd place. Jensen Bricky would pick up 42. And by my calculation, that would be enough for him to pretty much put the championship, I think, out of reach, because effectively all you need to do is keep his nose out of trouble and essentially, from what we've worked out, just score and just do so. Because if he was to DNF in this race, it would then mean that everyone else comes right back into contention. It means that it's all to play for in the final round, because, as I say, you can't drop anything from these final 2 races. What you score here has to count to your final total after drop scores come into play for the ones that you drop up until the end of Donington Park last time out. Jake Triggs is 4th, means it would bag him 38 points. Sid Smith would then get 36 if it stays as it is, and then you've then got 34 points for Alex Lee. So as it stands right now, with the top 6, the top 6 of the championship are in, not exactly in championship order, but in the top 6 in the race so far. So as it stands right now, as now James Wallace picks up the fastest lap of the race, that would give him an extra 2 bonus points. So that would mean that Deegan Fairclough goes back down to 51 on this one, because you lose the 2 points and 48 points for James Wallace if he stays where he is. As it currently stands at the moment, it would put Jensen Brickley on 515 points, Sid Smith on 446. It would put Alex Lee on 438 and only 2 points ahead of James Wallace. So James could still get 3rd in the championship. There's also an even possibility, if things work his way as well, that Deegan could get there as well, but he's going to have to get some good fortunes and hope that possibly results go his way in that sense. But we think at this point in time here, given the fact that he had that 63-point lead coming into the weekend, that this result may well, provisionally, we have to stress, provisionally, be enough to give Jensen Brickley the title because for this first race, because given the fact that if it was to stay as it was like this, he'd have 515 compared to 446. That's a 69-point lead, and the maximum you can score in one race is 52 in the second race, and that's the win with the fastest lap. So it may well be enough in this race by the looks of it, but you're never 100% certain. It's one thing we have to work out for definite to make sure before we get to the end of the final race. There's Alex Lee, who has run quite well this season. He's picked up the points for a win at Croft. And since then, he's looked fairly consistent in his running. He's been up and around the top 5 quite a lot. His best result after that was a 2nd place, and that was at Alton Park in June. So he's managed to really rack up the consistent scores. He's had a bit of driver training from Bobby Thompson in the past as well, so he's been able to get himself up there and find his pace. There goes Alex, P6. Just ahead of him is Sid Smith, who his dad Rob is also in contention for the senior level Fiesta Championship. Had a lot of drama yesterday. He was involved in an incident where several cars hit fluid, including he himself. And I've seen his car this morning, and it pretty much looks as it should do again. Quite a bit of 1 or 2 scuffs and a little bit of tape on there as well to make sure that it all holds it all together. But it resembles a Fiesta ST 180 again, which is the main thing. And all Rob wants to do essentially is just pick up the points he needs to get the championship done. But it's never as simple as that sometimes, as it proved yesterday. We'll be watching his son Sid with great intent here, because Sid's on the back of Jake here. This is a possibility for him to grab 4. This will certainly help Sid to further solidify 2nd place potentially in the championship. There is every possibility that it could change for him if the results stay as they are, because if he does get the victory, get this position, he will then move on. So this will be 30. He'll gain 2 more points, because you get 50 points for a win, 46 for 2nd, 42 for 3rd, but it's 38 for 4th, and it goes down in 2. So you get 38 for 4th place and 36 for 5th. So Sid can get a couple more points if he is able to get himself around Jake, who has come on strong in this 2nd half of the season. He's done quite well, picked up that win here at Cadwell Park a couple of months ago, and he's looked quite well, made a lot of progress. I know that he's been one of a couple of drivers which has been getting some driver coaching help from 2019 champion Ollie Turner. Just seeing there, I think Jensen Brickley knows he just needs to keep himself out of trouble and just bring the car home, not push too hard. Oh, Sid Smith bouncing around through bar corner there, very sideways. That's only going to see him lose a couple of car lengths to Jake Triggs, but it'll also put him on the back foot and under pressure from Alex Lee as they come down the pit straight, start another lap. And here comes Lee when he does the inside line. Remember, these two are battling for the 2nd place in the championship. Through the left-hander. Looking pretty close between these two. Remember, coming into the weekend, take away the points on the spreadsheet just to go back to what we had coming into this weekend. But now they come up the hill. So they came into the weekend 6 points apart from each other. So Alex is going to have to try and go some to. If he can get ahead, that will certainly allow him to take a couple of points back from Sid. They're going to have to hope that results go his way and that fortunes are better for him than they are for Sid in the 2nd race. Still 5 1/4 minutes to go in this penultimate Fiesta Junior race of 2021. As I say, plenty going on in the background, lots of exciting stuff happening in the works of 2022, which will come clear in the next few weeks. Turning in through the left-hander. And now, as they start to make their way out through Mansfield, and even though it's 11 o'clock in the morning, it still looks as though there's lots of these long shadows, so the sun is still quite low in the sky in many cases. So lots of these long shadows. It's beautiful autumnal weather here at Cadwell Park. It's a wonderfully picturesque circuit, and the weather here is certainly matching it. So Deegan then not being allowed to relax here. He's still just about 8 tenths ahead, and James Wallace is pushing on because he knows he needs to get as many points as he can to try and get himself any possible chance of picking up any championship silverware. If he can get himself into the top 3, of course that will certainly mean that he'll be able to pick up a trophy at the end of season BRSCC Awards that are scheduled to take place once again in the beginning of February. And he'll be there to pick up the trophy. So now they come out of Charlie's down to Park Corner. Wallace is looking decent. Look at his look at their lap times last time by. So last time it was pretty even lap time wise between Fairclough and Wallace. Only a couple of hundredths between it, and Brickley, his pace is still good, but he's about roughly 3/4 of a second off the 2 cars in front. So again, I suspect this is just him just keeping it steady, just to make sure he's keeping out of trouble and just banking the points he needs to pretty much put one hand on the championship trophy. Jake Triggs still 4th, and still this battle going on for 5th and 6th between Archie Handy and Alex Lee. They turn their way out through Chris Kerr whilst the leaders come through the gooseneck. It's been a nice clean and tidy race for the juniors in this race. Still about 3.5 minutes to go. Using all the curb on the exit. Now the short straight down towards the mountain. And Brickley there again, just not getting involved too much. Just wanted to make sure he just gets the 3rd place he needs. Over the mountain. There goes Brickley, effectively champion-elect. And Triggs in 4th, and still this battle for 5th going on between Sid Smith and Alex Lee. Lee, if he can, would like to get past if he possibly can. I think we're going to get 2 more laps this time by, because they're lapping in the 145s at the moment, so this and 1 more lap by the looks of it. Yeah, this will be the second to last lap now, penultimate lap coming up. Across the line goes Fairclough, followed by Wallace. And now they're back towards the left-hander at Coppice. Now the gap this time by came down by another about 1/4 second. It was a 45.5 for Wallace compared to a 45.7, nearly a 45.8 for Fairclough. So Wallace wants to try and line him up if he can here. He would indeed love a victory, because here's some previous results. I know that James did pick up a victory last time at Donington. I know that was after Jensen picked up a time penalty for track limits at Donington Park in that second race. It was James's first win in Fiesta Juniors. There goes Brickley. And Jake Triggs hasn't got too far away from Sid. He's actually, Sid is starting to bring him in a bit more, and as a result of that, he's trying to pull away from Alex here as they turn out through the right-hander, and Fairclough gets a little bit wide on the exit of the gooseneck, all over the curve on the exit. He really was pushing as hard as he could, but all that's done is brought James Wallace straight onto his tail now, so in an effort to try and pull away and to get more points on him, Deegan's just pushing maybe a little bit too hard. Needs just to kind of rein it in a little bit and just hold on to the position if he can, and not try and throw it away in this last lap. There goes Wallace, keeping in close proximity. Deegan just throwing the car, and you can see the way he's just rotating the car like it's a rear-wheel drive car. It's brilliant to see him to the way he just turned it from side to side like that. He's backed by Norman Burgess' Sicily Motorsport squad, so you've definitely seen a lot of potential in young Deegan, and certainly proving it here at the wheel of the Fiesta. Across the line to go, 50 seconds left, so 1 more time around in this second to last race of the season for the Fiesta Juniors. Wallace closing in on the straights. He just darts out, puts himself in Deegan's mirrors, just reminds him, I'm still here, Deegan. Haven't disappeared just yet. And lap time wise, despite the small mishap for Fairclough and the fact that Wallace maybe had to get out the throttle a bit, still pretty much identical lap times, 46.0 for both of them, but Wallace was a fraction faster, just dips a wheel onto the grass as they exit Park curved as Fairclough. There's Jensen Brickley in 3rd, pretty comfortable in that position, and now 4th place. Sid Smith has not only dropped Alex Lee, but he's now right onto the back of Jake Triggs, flashing the headlights. Is the classic old tactic to try and distract the young Scotsman. Over the crest, here comes the battle for 4th, and I thought Sid Smith to disappear for a second there, but he was perfectly in line behind Jake Triggs, tucked underneath the little rear fin of Triggs' Fiesta. Again, as Fairclough just swings through the gooseneck and down to the left-hander once more. He may have won both races at Croft at the beginning of the season, but he was there as a guest, which meant the points went to the drivers behind him. And so he has won quite a few races on the road this season, and so he's going to try and take another one, and certainly proving why he is one of the class of the field. Apart from that, he took 2, how many wins did he take? He took a win at Stetterton, 3 wins at Stetterton, and also a win here in the second race at Cadwell. Unfortunately, didn't quite go his way at Donington Park, but he certainly has proven himself to be quite a prominent young talent, and he's certainly one to watch for the future. Out of the final corners come both Deegan Fairclough and James Wallace, and Deegan will take another race win in his tally for 2021 and try and claw back more valuable points for his position in the championship. Up to the checkered flag. It's a victory for Deegan Fairclough in the first Fiesta Junior race of the season, second for James Wallace, and 3rd for Jensen Brickley. Effectively means he puts one hand on the title, so not confirmed just for sure, but he's provisionally just about there. 4th for Jake Triggs, 5th for Sid Smith, 6th for Alex Lee, 7th for Albert Webster, who just holds off Joseph Knight in the end. Then Archie Handy picks up 9th, Daniel Lewis is 10th, he dropped back after he was as high as 6th at one point. And then James Pope rounds out the 11 cars on the grid. So 11 cars started, and all 11 looks like they're going to make it home, which is great to see. So congrats to all of our drivers who managed to make it to the flag. So in terms of finishing positions then, Deegan didn't get the fast lap of the... Did he get the fast lap of the race? Have a quick look. No, he didn't. So it's 51 points from that first race, because it was a pole position point and the win. Now James Wallace will be on 48, because that gives him 46 plus the 2 for fastest lap. Jensen Brickley will be on 42. And there was 4th place for Jake Triggs, which means that he gets 38. I'm working this out on the fly here for a second. 36 is Sid Smith, 34 is Alex Lee. Well, here's the result. So it's Deegan Fairclough with the victory, James Wallace in 2nd, Jensen Brickley 3rd, then Jake Triggs, Sid Smith and Alex Lee, then Albert Webster, Joseph Knight, Archie Handy and Daniel Lewis, with James Pope finishing 11th. We'll work out championship connotations and bring them to you for the 2nd race later on. James Wallace gets the fast lap of the race. For those watching on the Fiesta Junior stream, thanks for watching.